host, Charlotte, from the admissions office at Jönköping University. This webinar is about how to apply to a pathway program at Jönköping University. So this is information regarding application for summer of 2024 and autumn 2024. So the pathway program starting summer of 24 and autumn of 24. First of all, the pathway programs, they're designed if you don't meet the English requirement because your English test results are not sufficient, perhaps. So the minimum requirements can be found at the Pathway Admissions website, and we will take a look at that in a little bit. The best way is to apply for a pathway program in combination with a bachelor or master program at Jönköping University. That way, you will get pre-assessed for the bachelor or master program. And if you successfully complete the pathway program, then you would have guaranteed admission, as long as the follow-up program hasn't been canceled or significantly changed. So the pathway programs are held at Campus Gränna. And Gränna, here's Jönköping on the map, and Gränna is about 40 minutes to an hour by bus, depends on the bus. The campus is situated in the center of the town of Gränna, walking distance from the student accommodation. The school consists of several small wooden buildings. Some of them date back to the 18th century. The program fee for Pathway is tuition fee for non-EU citizens and boarding fee because it includes half board, so lunch and dinner served in the restaurant on campus. Breakfast and late meals can be prepared in the student residences, so small buildings here that contain the student residence has small kitchen areas, so you can do make breakfast or a late snack. Meals off campus, generally not included. However, the kitchen staff can sometimes prepare some lunch boxes when students have classes at main campus in Jönköping. So pathway, the longer pathway programs, there you might have 1 or 2 days of studies at the main campus in Jönköping. Close to campus is also a local health center. Student housing at Campus Gränna, you have your own room. Kitchen and bathrooms are shared, and it's only for students. So family members will have to find their own accommodation. Questions about the campus, you can ask directly to the pathway programs through their Facebook page or our accommodation office. So let's go on and talk about the different pathway programs available. In the summer, we have a Pathway Intensive English campus course. It's a 4-week course on campus in Gränna. It's from 15th of July until 11th of August. And for that, the minimum English requirement would be IELTS 6.0 or equivalent. So TOEFL minimum of 80, not below 20 in writing, for example. So that's the Pathway Intensive English. The program fee for it is 35,000 Swedish kronor. That's tuition fee, 20,000, and boarding fee, 15,000. Just studying the Pathway Intensive English course on campus does not qualify a non-EU citizen for a study permit. A study permit must be for more than 3 months. But if you're applying for Pathway Intensive English with a bachelor or master program at Jönköping University, and you're admitted to that, that will qualify you for a study permit. We will also have the Pathway Intensive English online. That is a 6-week course, starts 1st of July. The first 2 weeks are a little bit different to prepare for online studies. Again, it's the same minimum English requirements and only tuition fee because it's online. So again, it doesn't qualify for study permit. If you're admitted to Pathway Intensive English online, plus a bachelor or master program that then will start in August of 2024, you would then need to apply for a study permit for the bachelor or master program that starts in August. So not for the 6-week of the online course. So that's the difference between the campus course and the online course. So the online course is completely online. Our other programs, Pathway Semester English, it runs from the 26th of August until the 13th of December. The minimum English requirements is an IELTS of 5.5 with no part below 5.0. So nothing below that. If you have an IELTS of 6.0 and you feel that you would need a Pathway Semester English, it could still be possible for that. The program fee is 99,500 Swedish kronor, where the tuition fee part is 52,000 and boarding fee is the rest. In December, once completed Pathway Semester English, you would return home even if you have an offer for autumn starting 2025, August 2025, because Pathway Semester is just for 1 semester and it ends in December. And then you go home and then you apply for a study permit to come back for the follow-up program starting in August 2025. If you have applied and been admitted with the follow-up program. We also have a Pathway Year English that runs from 26th of August 2024 to 9th of May 2025. This is for students who have a lower score in their English test, so IELTS 5.0, for example. There are some elective courses that can be chosen after arriving at Campus Glenda. Not many, but a few. One each semester, actually. So the full program fee is 199,000 Swedish kronor. This will be divided into 2 installments. So the first one will be due, we'll talk about this later as well, between 3 or 5 weeks after being admitted. And the second installment will be due 15th of December. So we're splitting this in 2 payments. We also have a Pathway Year General. The entry requirement for English is the same as for Pathway Semester, but this is the Pathway Year General runs from 26th of August until 6th of June. So the autumn semester is is technically Pathway Semester English, and then the next semester is an extra semester with a lot more elective classes. You choose courses, and the program fee for this is 215,000, and divided into 2 installments, where the first installment is the same as the first installment for Pathway Year English. The second installment is 115,500, and that's because spring semester is a lot of elective courses, different courses than if you were just studying English. We do have a few other additional pathway programs. Pathway Year plus BI Norwegian Business School in Oslo, Norway, or the year program with North Park University in Chicago, US. There are videos on your pathway to BI or your pathway to North Park on our YouTube channel that you can search for and have a look. But we're going to look at the application process. So what do we do there? Well, the first thing is to remember to prepare your documents. You need to have your passport, perhaps a letter of motivation. It can help sometimes. English test result, very important. Some of the English tests must be made available to us, but that information is found on the Pathway Program requirements website, and we will look at that soon. Then you need your high school documents or academic documents. It depends on if you're applying for just Pathway or Pathway with a follow-up bachelor program, or Pathway with a follow-up master program. Now, all the documents should be scanned in color, scans of the original document, and they should be easy to read. So how do you apply? Well, the first thing is, are you interested in just the Pathway program, or do you want to continue studying at JU with a degree program, so bachelor master program? So Pathway plus a degree program, or Pathway plus BI Norwegian Business School perhaps, or just Pathway. So that's the first step to decide where do you want to go with this. You should then prepare your documents, and then you go to submit your application. This is our website, where you can find a lot of information, and we're going to go to this website, how to apply Pathway. So when you go here and to how to apply Pathway, okay, you end up on this page where you have information about how to apply, the programs themselves, and how to apply. The reason I said that you need to figure out what you want to study first is because depending on what you want to apply for, there are different links to use. So if it's just Pathway, it's one link. If it's Pathway plus a bachelor program at Jönköping University, that's another one. Master program, another one. Pathway plus BI Norwegian Business School has its own and North Park has its own. So that's why you need to figure out what you want to apply to first. The pathway program requirements, like the English requirements, can be found here under each. So we look at pathway semester, for example. It tells you the minimum requirement for IELTS, TOEFL, Pearson PTE, University of Cambridge, and what minimum requirement is. So once you've decided that you want to apply for perhaps a pathway plus master program, you come to this page. So this is where it tells you where to apply, but information about uploading your documents. What type of documents? You know, a diploma, transcripts, perhaps the master program that you're interested in requires a thesis. All of that can be found on the program pages. So you need to find out which pathway program do you need for the English, and two, what master program at Jönköping University are you interested in, and what are the requirements there. And the documents should be submitted in official language. All of this is written here. How to upload the documents. We only accept them in PDF files. And how to name the files. We'll go through that as well. Information about the processing of the application, offer of acceptance, and what to do next. And if there are country-specific requirements for submitting your documents. Not all transcripts can be scanned and uploaded. So if it's special instructions, those are found here. It's the same thing for pathway plus bachelor program, for instance. It has information as well, and specific country requirements there as well. So each of these pages will give you information on the type of documents and if there are any requirements that you have to remember. So then it's time to apply. So you click the Apply Here button. And this is where you make a choice. So the first choice is, this is what I really, really want to study. For instance, say it's pathway year English, and you really want to study cybersecurity. If you can't study cybersecurity, what's a different program you'd be interested in? Well, then you find something else that you're interested in. AI engineering, for instance. Then you enter your personal details. Your first name, your given name, and then your family name, surname. Your email address here. Double check the email address. You write it down, check it again, because that is the email address that we will send information to. And if it's not correct, it could be some trouble. So check your email address once you've written it. Check it several times. It asks you for a phone number for you and your address. So it's the address where you currently live. If you have friends in Sweden, writing their address doesn't help anything. This is the address where you live right now. The postal code, the city, the country you're living in. So the country, city, postal code, the address, that's where you are. Nationality, that's what in your passport. Sometimes your nationality is different from the country you're living in. So nationality that's what your passport says. Civic number, it's only if you've been in Sweden before and studied before. So you can just ignore that section. The date of birth is important. And in Sweden, we ask for you to write down year, followed by month, followed by date. The easiest way to get it right is to use the calendar. So you can find the different years here and then go on. Gender, we only use male or female. So it's the gender that's on your passport that you should put here. Now, if you have applied for the autumn semester 2024 at universityadmissions.se for any other university, or even if you applied for the spring, put that application ID here because it will help us identify you later on because we share information, identification information with university admissions. This next section is only if you have used an agent to help you with the application. So an agent is someone who gets paid to help students apply. So if you're doing this on your own, if you have a friend or relative to help you, you leave this blank. Nothing here, nothing. It's only if you pay someone their name and email address. Proficiency test. This is where you tell us which English test you have. So if you have an IELTS, you click on that. If it's perhaps the Pearson PTE academic test, that has to be ordered to be accessible by us. So then you have to click this button as well. Otherwise, you can just leave that blank. If it's an IELTS test and you upload it as it is, leave that blank, nothing here. The next step is to submit your document. So you can upload a maximum of 12 documents, but you only need a few documents. PDF file format, nothing else. Keep the file size as low as you can. And the name should be short, no more than 45 characters. But like we said, keep it short. The document should not include a period in it. If you click here, choose file, and you should have prepared your documents. For instance, the don't use a period in the name, the first one here, this is an example of what not to do. So not like this. Just name it simple as possible. Passport. Passport. Add another file. Click on the plus and then choose a file. IELTS. Simple enough, yes? it tells us exactly what it is. It's a passport, it's an IELTS. That's all you need to name your documents. Again, check the information if you forget about the, for instance, the transcript and how that should be done. So once you've added the documents that you want to submit, you keep going. Citizens outside of the European Union, the European Economic Area and Switzerland, they have to pay an application fee of 900 Swedish kronor. I think that's about 80 or 85 euros. If you're not required to pay, basically if you're a citizen of the European Union or European Economic Area, you click this here. I am not required to pay. If you have applied for to a Swedish university through universityadmissions.se, and you've applied for the autumn 2024, and you've paid the application fee there, then you can say that you have already paid the application fee. And then you will have to show a receipt. You have to upload a receipt. Now remember, you can come back and upload more documents after you have submitted the application. This is where your email address comes in, because once you have submitted your application, you will receive a confirmation email that has a link to your application, and you can upload more documents. So if you have already paid the application fee, or if you can't pay by MasterCard or Visa card, you click here and then we can help you after you've submitted the application. So if you have clicked this one or that one, clicking next will submit the application. It will send it right to us. However, if these are not, if you haven't clicked in either of these, the next will take you to, will take you to paying the application fee through Visa, MasterCard, or Maestro. Once you've done that, then you will have submitted the application and you will receive a confirmation link where you can come back and upload more documents. Now, once you've submitted it, then what happens? Well, we check your documents and we ask you for further documents if we need to. If we offer you admission, you will have 1 week to reply. And if you accept the offer, a letter of acceptance will be sent to you a few minutes later. And then you will also get instructions on how to activate a temporary JU account. Now, that account is to access the invoice system and the accommodation system. Pathway year and pathway semester, you don't have to apply for accommodation because it's part of your studies, the program fee, but you need to confirm an arrival date. So that's what that will be for. Pathway intensive English will need to, if you're admitted to pathway intensive English plus a follow-up program, you will need to apply for accommodation for the follow-up program. Again, remember that our accommodation is for students only. If you bring family members, you will have to organize accommodation on your own. Now, a few days after you have received the letter of acceptance, then you will receive an email about accessing the invoice. So once the invoice is ready and generated, you will receive an email saying, now you can log on to the invoice system and look at your invoice. You can download the invoice and then you pay it. And once you've paid the invoice, you will have 3 to 5 weeks to pay the invoice. Once it's been paid, a confirmation will be sent through the invoice system. Now, I say 3 to 5 weeks. It depends on when you were admitted. At this early stage, when it's just open, up until April, you'll have 5 weeks to have paid the invoice. If you're admitted later, after April, it can be shortened down to 3 weeks, because you will have to apply for a study permit. Non-EU citizens will have to have a study permit, and the invoice must have been paid. And you can apply at the earliest 4 months before the start of the study, and it should be applied as quickly as possible within those 4 months before the start. We will have a separate webinar on this in March sometime, so keep a lookout on our website to see when the webinar will be. You can also read more about the study permit at ju.se/study permit. So I'm not going to talk too much about the study permit here, because this was about the application process. And that was the end of the presentation. And now we can see if we have any questions. You can write your questions in the Q&A section, and we'll see if I can answer those. We do have a question from Neda. Am I allowed to apply for a 1-year pathway with a band score of 6? I'm assuming that's IELTS. A 1-year pathway could be the pathway year general. It's possible, especially if you feel that you need a bit of extra study help. Pathway year general does give you a lot of academic readiness for higher education in Sweden. The same thing with pathway semester, yes. So with an IELTS score of 6, either the pathway intensive English, the 4-week course, or possibly pathway year general. It depends. So then Perry says, do we get any portal information after making application to portal? No, our direct application doesn't get you a username or anything like that, not like universityadmissions.se. So it will, once you've submitted your application, you will get an email back with a link so that you can add more documents. But if you want to change anything, a spelling mistake or an address mistake, get in touch with us instead. Send us an email and ask for our help, and we can help you to make that change in your application. You don't have to make a new application. Just contact us and we will help you So that is, you don't get a username until you've been admitted, and that's for a JU, a so-called pre-student account, before you're an actual student. Is thesis a mandatory for management students? No, management, the thesis is not, a thesis is not required. It's more if you apply for a master program, for instance, sustainable communications. There are a few engineering, just a few engineering, not all engineering. So for that, go to the program website on our home page and see the requirements. If a thesis is required, it will say so. If it doesn't say so, no thesis. A 5.5 IELTS, then it's pathway semester English or pathway year general. So if you have an IELTS of 5.5, the pathway intensive English summer course is unfortunately not an option, because the minimum is 6.0 for the pathway intensive. And it's called intensive for a reason, and it's shorter because you have to have 6.0. The pathway intensive English you can also do even if you fulfill or meet the requirements for English to a program, a bachelor, master at JU. If you have 6.5 IELTS, you could still do the pathway intensive English, because it does help you with academic writing and prepare you for the academic studies in Sweden. So for that. Let's see if we have another one. Transcript minimum score requirement for pathway and bachelor. If that is a question about minimum grades, it depends on what you're applying for. But the minimum is that you have successfully completed high school to get into a bachelor program. We have a program called New Media Design. A lot of students want to get into that program. So then you might have to have higher grades to be eligible for admission for those. Okay. So far, no new questions. I hope that I answered most of the questions that you had through the presentation. If you do have questions, other type of questions, you can send an email to us. I'll put down and I'll share my screen again. then you can send your question to pathwayadmissions, one word, at ju.se. So pathwayadmissions at ju.se. We have a question here. I applied to Pathway Plus Master. I did not upload a motivation letter. Is it a problem? No. If we don't ask for it, you don't have to. Like I said, a letter of motivation can be helpful, but it's not required. Another question is, do I need to notarize any documents? Well, if you translate your documents, that could be, especially if it's a Chinese document, the translation is also notarization. So for Chinese documents, it's the same thing, a translation and notarization. Other countries, it's a translation by an authorized translator. The person who has translated the information and contact information about that person should always be written on the translation. And authorized translators, they do this automatically. They usually have a stamp or a seal or something like that. Another question here is, make a change in the application if you want to change the subject. I'm guessing the program you're applying for. Again, send us an email and say, I want to change this to that, and then we can help you. So you don't have to make another application. You just send us an email and ask for our help, and we will do that. Another question here. Does your university has housing guarantee for international students, especially non-EU students? Our international student accommodation guarantee is for students outside of Sweden. So non-EU students and EU students from outside of Sweden. That's where we have a guarantee for the student. If you bring family members, again, you will have to arrange accommodation on your own. Because our student accommodation is single student accommodation. And especially the pathway, it's basically a single bed and a writing desk. That's it. So far, no more questions. Like I said, we will have another webinar on the study permit issue in March. So you can keep a lookout for that. And this recording will be available on our YouTube channel, as well as on the website on admissions at ju.se/en/admissions, the one I showed in the beginning. There will be a link for this webinar there as well. So you can return and watch this again. So I thank you for your participation, and I wish you luck. And contact us if you have any questions, any more questions about the application process. Take care.